I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad. In this interview today, we're going to talk about you starting out, obviously finding boxing, to eventually cracking on and winning the light heavyweight title in the States. What made you, firstly, move away from Trinidad, which is where you was born and grew up, to reaching out and fighting in America?
Well, it was more by accident, really. I took a trip to see my family, mainly my grandmother, and because she was severely ill. And after seeing her and seeing that she was okay, I decided to stay. I like the weather, I like the people, the atmosphere, and they had some boxing going on in Trinidad. Just had a world champion, Claude Noel, and I decided, well, if he can do it here, I can do it too. I decided to make Trinidad my staging ground for my professional career.
What? Can you turn the TV off because it's clashing?
Yeah.
Right, that's it. Obviously, who did you start out with in the pro ranks in America? Who did you start with?
Well, my first trainer was I didn't have a manager, I had a trainer.
Okay.
Wilfred Bartholomew, an old man in Trinidad who had some experience with the national team and some local guys, and that was the nearest gym to where I lived in Trinidad, my grandmother's house, and it was walking distance. It was close by. It was convenient, and so I decided to make that my base, Laventille, called a place in Laventille, Trinidad and Tobago, and it was kind of ordinary gym, nothing special, no kind of lacking equipment, one rope, had a ring with one rope, one ring, one rope going around, making the circumference of the ring, and part of the ring was the wall. It wasn't 4 square rings. It was more like 2 or 3, because the wall was part of the ring too. So when you dodge a punch, you hit the wall. If you don't go sideways, you gotta go back. If you go backwards, you hit the wall. So you gotta go sideways. So it was kind of primitive and raw. They're like starting all over again. But I was determined. I was 20 years old and determined to do something with my life, and boxing was it. I had nothing else to, so I can throw my name in the hat and see what happens. And I know I love boxing. I wanted to be a world champion, and I said, well, why not dedicate myself for a few years and see what happens.
What part of the States of America was you fighting out?
Florida. I was based in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Yeah, that's where I had my first fight in Miami against a guy called Elvis Parks, 10-rounder. That was my first fight in the USA. First fight overseas, apart from Trinidad, in Miami Beach, and I beat this guy Elvis Parks. I beat him in, I think, the 8th and 9th round. I stopped it, and that was my first fight in the United States. Prior to that, I already had like 3 or 4 fights in Trinidad.
And your big break came when you boxed Marvin Johnson, right?
Yeah, that was in '86.
In '86.
After a few more fights that I had in Trinidad and in USA, I came up against Marvin Johnson in 1986 for the world title. The title was vacant. WBA's title was vacant, and my manager negotiated. I became number one contender, and Marvin was number 2 contender, I believe. So we matched up WBA officials. The same with Mendoza or Solomon. One of them matched us up for the title, and Marvin. That was held in Indianapolis. It was February '86. and he got me uncut. So I was stopped in the 8th round because I got cut on both sides. There was too much blood. Yeah. And a year later, there was a rematch after 2 more fights, which I won. I had a rematch with MARVIN in '87, and that's when I took it from him. That was his. That was like his second defense, or third defense.
That night, how did you feel winning the heavyweight title?
Well, it was. You can't really describe it. It's a feeling like you're world champion. You're champion of the world. It's something you've been looking for 5 years. My first fight in '81, and in '87, I'm champion. Like 5 years later, you kind of like everything just overwhelms you. The feeling, the emotions, the crowd, the noise, the family. It's a feeling that you can lose. You can just lose yourself in, just forget about. You feel you can take the world on. You're on top of the world. If you're not, you gotta have good people around you. Good people around you in a situation like that. Because if you don't have good people to kind of make you focus and remember, the feeling is one thing, but you gotta put in. You still gotta work extra hard.
So that you must have felt, to work extra hard. Now you got felt that you're gonna work extra hard.
Yeah, you gotta work extra hard, but it's you gotta remember it's not just hard work too. Everything gotta be right. You're on the top of it, and that's what a lot of guys don't realize. It's not just being a professional. Is exactly what it means. You got to be a professional in every aspect, not just you, but your people.
In and out,
got to be professional too. In and out of the ring, it's got to be done professionally. You want to have a masseuse, he's got to be a professional what he's doing, because even that can give you the wrong massage, the wrong rub, don't rub you right. Even that can throw you off, throw your body off, or you gotta have the right coach, the right trainer. You gotta do the right things.
Right, wife, girlfriend, whatever, everything.
Yeah, everything gotta be right. You gotta have the right people around you. So it's not just me being training and being fit. You gotta eat right. You gotta if you have weight to lose, you gotta do that properly too. Otherwise, that can make you feel weak or make you overweight or whatever. So you
had that though. You had?
No, I didn't have all that in place. That's the thing. It wasn't.
By the time you won the title, did you realize all this wasn't in place when you won the title that you needed?
That's my point exactly. The excitement can make you feel so overwhelmed that you forget some of these things that made you become a champion. Like not just the hard work, but the effort and the diligence that your manager took to get you ready. Becoming a champion, the hunger is still there, but like any slight mistake can throw you off, can lose you that title, because they're preparing for you, and they're very, very meticulous and very careful and very observant of what you do, who your trainer is, and so forth. And as a champion, you gotta do that. Not just your talent alone, but people around you gotta be talented too. You gotta have to be able to bring you back down and keep you focused and keep you it's like a buffer. When you like some fighters, fighters how when they're champion, they think they're on top of the world.
Yeah.
Think they can do anything. They want to do this, do that, party, spend, whatever.
Decisions.
Some fight, not all, some fighters, So, you need to be, like harness in and realize that, now you're a champion. Now they're after you. They're all coming at you. Now you have to, not just work hard, but work smart. And when I fought Virgil Hill, I I think I was careless in my preparations. I think I was cavalier and didn't do my homework and studying him and knowing that he was focused. He was the man I was when I beat MARVIN.
Oh.
Focused and hungry. And he was, I was.
How long was you out the gym? When you won the title, of course you.
I was like 3-4 months.
3-4 months.
Yeah. I was in for like maybe, about 3 or 4 months. I wasn't out of the gym, but I was out of the ring. I didn't have a fight. The fight took place in, I think it was in May. Winning the title and defending it was, I think, like 4 or 5 months gap altogether. So, talking about rest and you see, the mistake we made, I believe, is taking on Virgil Hill as my first defense, and then fighting too soon.
Was that a decision made by the team? Was the money bigger to fight Virgil Hill in your first defense, or was it something that you had to take #1 contender?
I thought I had to take it because it was a mandatory defense at the time. I was told I had to take the WBA had to make he was #1 and they wanted me ABC. That's what I was told, but I believe that wasn't true though. I mean, ABC just wanted him because he was fresh from the Olympics and he was a name, a guy he thought would pull the crowd. If you look at Floyd Mayweather, he's a perfect example of a fighter should conduct himself in terms of business. Not every aspect of his life is perfect, but a page from his book, I should say, because he knows how to conduct what he wants, and he fights. He picks his fights, yes, but he's fought the best on his terms, not nobody else's terms. Like when I fought Hill, he was one of the best at the time, but I fought him on their terms, on my terms. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I could have fought Virgil Hill down the road, maybe for more money, or take on a less dangerous fight as my first defense.
True.
To get me settled down, because, I was kind of like, you feel you can take on the world, but you're all humans, and where he may not have that feeling, but his preparations, in his mind, he thinks he can. He's telling himself he's preparing for a world champion and he has to do this and do that. I'm telling myself I'm defending my title, preparing for this man who I can beat. Who's this, who's that? Not giving him the respect I should have given him in preparation. I mean, it was just, I believe I could have beaten Virgil Hill if I was under different circumstances. If I prepared for him the way I prepared for Marvin Johnson, I would have beaten him. I believe so. Yeah.
So for your comeback fight after you lost to Virgil, did you feel more, say, lifted to get your title back? Did you say? I felt I wanted to get the title back. I had a couple of. I'm not against Virgil Hill because that again was another mistake we made. We didn't put in a rematch clause in the contract. Our manager is very inexperienced, and we didn't have a rematch clause, so I didn't get a second crack at Virgil Hill. He took it and he ran with it. So that's due to my management fault. Another thing that Mayweather wouldn't have done that. Or Love Fight wouldn't have done that. Experienced managers wouldn't have done that. But my manager, he was too thinking of the money and this and that and the other. So we didn't put in a rematch clause. So when I lost the title, I didn't get a crack back at it. You know, I had to wait a couple of years to get a crack at I think the word WBC at Lalonde, which I lost.
You fought Donny Lalonde?
Yeah.
Oh, the Golden Boy Lalonde. Okay. Yeah. Alright, so you went to another 2 years to get a title shot again?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was about that long, yeah.
You see the Virgil Hill fight. When I spoke to you last weekend and we was in the car driving home, you did say to me, I mean, it's up to you if you want to talk about it on camera, that the purse that you got for the fight was nowhere near what you was entitled to.
Right, yeah.
Can you explain that to the camera, if you want to?
Well, yeah, I mean, the purse I was told was not as much. When Marvin came to Trinidad, he got a certain amount that was totally opposite to what I got when I came to America and fight for it and defended my title. So the purse was different, you know, by a whole lot. And I was told one price and then I found out it was another price. You know, management again. You know, that really is just due to my lack of experience and trust, you know, in human spirit, whatever, you know, just trusting in management that the purse difference was real. You know, the contrast in price and numbers were now, but back then, you know, you don't want to question the management too much and question this and question that. You just want to fight. You told a certain amount, and you went with it. But you know, when Marvin came to Trinidad, he got the biggest purse he I think ever got in his fighting career. And when he came there to defend it, you know, and I got 25% you get from the champion's purse. Champions always get no lower than 25%. So when I came to defend my title, you know, I was told something. The price was, and I didn't question it. Again, my inexperience and my lack of trust, I didn't question it, and you know, the lights didn't go on. You know, when I was given that price, the lights didn't go on. I took it, and it's not till afterwards I realized I'd gotten suckered, I'd gotten robbed.
By then it was too late.
Yeah, a lot of money. I said, anyway, I said to Cabo, you got me, Mr. Cabo, it's okay. But you know, down the road, you know, God will, you know, either his kids will lose money or something will happen. You know, that comes back to haunt you down the road, somewhere down the road, you know, when you do misdeeds. Yeah, but you know, talking about that, the money issue and the purse, I don't like to daunt on it too much because it's not a nice, you know, it's not, you know, money is important in life, but at the time I was so happy to be a world champion.
Yeah.
I was so you know, just being a world champion, you know, the money wasn't a big issue at that time because it seemed like I had everything. You know, it seemed like I was happy. I was champion of the world. I had, you know, the money wasn't, you know, I didn't turn pro to be a millionaire. Maybe I should have. Maybe if I was a Mayweather, money man, maybe I would have been more focused on the purses and grabbing the money. But I was just enjoying I was enjoying boxing. And I took up boxing because I love the sport. I love the atmosphere, the exercising. You know, it was never for money. You know, boxing just came to me so easily. You know, from the time I turned pro, you know, I didn't lack for anything. When I went from Trinidad to Fort Lauderdale, I didn't want for nothing. My manager gave me everything. So it seemed like money wasn't an issue. To be focusing on money or to be arguing over money or to bickering with him over money, not knowing that, you know, down the road it would be an issue. You know, you don't see it then. You know, but that's something fighters should learn, and you know. So maybe the message there for me, I have to teach fighters when it comes to managing their careers, when from the word go, get your own lawyer, you know, get your own, make sure you have somebody in your corner that you trust who really has your interest at heart, not just make-believe interest, but, you know, get your own lawyer. I didn't have my own lawyer. He gave me a contract, you know, his lawyer did everything. I didn't have my own lawyer looking at my interests. I had nobody, I had my father, mother, sister, brother. I was on my own, just me, one person. You know, doing all the, doing everything by myself. Whatever Cabo said, and he treated me well. I mean, one thing I can say, he treated me well. Maybe that's part of it. He made me very comfortable, gave me whatever I needed, a car, driver, house, whatever, you know. And, you know, I want for nothing. You know, my job was just to train and feel comfortable, and you know, I mean, you know, when I got my purses, whatever I got from it, I didn't question it. You know, so I didn't see the contracts that he signed. He had that authority to sign for the big fights. There was no need for me to see the contracts. Another mistake fighters shouldn't make. So, you know, maybe, you know, it takes guys like me with my experience to teach, you know, maybe, you know, there's a purpose. Maybe I can prevent another fighter from going through what I went through, from bad management, with money and so forth, you know. But, you know, we were friends, not just, you know, we go out together, you know, girls, whatever, you know. So I guess all that, you know, money wasn't an issue with me. I didn't. If I was fighting just for money, I wouldn't have maybe I wouldn't have been a world champion. Who knows? I wouldn't have worked so hard. I think when Spinks beat Ali, he was there. He was Spinks trainer. When Spinks beat Ali, he was in Spinks' corner. That's Leon Spinks.
Okay.
Yeah. So he had an experience, and he had he had some other champions that he trained, you know, and Wilfred Bartholomew in Trinidad was my main trainer in Trinidad. Wilfred Bartholomew, a very good coach. Yeah.
How did you find Don King as a person?
Very intelligent. Boxing knowledge was up to par. You know, I mean, he's a businessman. I see him as a businessman. All the smiling and the talking. You know, the bottom line, he's a businessman. You know, he's boxing. He likes boxing. He likes business, and they just putting the two together, boxing and business. And he didn't. You know, he talks and he socialized, but you know, he never forgets the business aspect of it. So I had a chance to be with him. I think I boxed on the one card he promoted, but he asked us to promote us. He wanted to be my promoter. When I was with Cabo turned him down because he said the deal was too much in his favor. He wanted too much. Cabo didn't take him on, so we didn't go with him.
Maybe signing with King, would you think now would that benefit your career or better your career?
Financially, maybe, because King has managed a lot of fighters. Some have been good, and some not so good. So I mean, there's no, you know, there may be probably financially, I believe. Yeah, you know, some fighters who think King did this and did that to them, and some who thinks that King was good to them. So, you know, I can't say if it'd be good or bad with King. I never had a chance to do it. But I know fighters who fought under his under his wings, they get good purses. You know, so he was just a promoter. Well, the publicity from after I fought Marvin Johnson, I fought Latium Wally for the Commonwealth title. I was known in Europe and so forth in England because that's the Commonwealth title is big over there. And I beat Latium Wally, then I defended in Australia. So I was known there in Europe. You know, and then when I beat Marvin Johnson, I was known here in the States and all over the world. But I think management was too selfish. Management has their own interests. Management is very important. When you sign a contract with a manager, that contract can either make you a bird or make a bird in a cage or a bird who's not in a cage, because they can confine you and they can kind of like all they want is money. If all they want is money, then all they care about is getting that money, that payday. Not, you have to have people on your side looking after your interests. I mean, who knows if I'd made 2 good defenses and then went on to fight Leonard. Who knows if I fought Leonard after Lalonde, if I didn't fight Lalonde with my bad ankle. A lot of things happened. A lot of things, a lot of things went wrong.
Who was the champions at the time? I know Lalonde, and who else?
He was champion.
And there was another champion, of course.
He was WBC champion, Lalonde. I think Hill was still WBA. But Leonard was trying to be his 5th or 6th or 8th title. He was going to try and get another title, 168. So.
Without the head guards.
No head guards now.
Yeah. So that's So that's
gonna be good to see, boy. It's gonna be more interesting, more exciting.
Yeah.
No headgear. 3 minutes.
That's it.
3 rounds of fighting. They might change that back again down the road anyway.
Feet cuts and
I see to the right of you, you have some pictures with Tommy Hearns. Yeah. Can you just show?
Here's me and Hearns and Jimmy Carvo and Tommy Hearns and myself. I'm not sure what year this was taken, but it was a long time ago, I can say that much. This is my driver and myself, So, the memories are there forever.
Can't get rid of memories.
Hearns, at one time I thought I was going to meet Hearns in that division, that heavyweight division, but we never met in the ring professionally. We never fought. But it was going to happen if had I beaten Hill, Hearns is a tall fighter. That's when I was more handsome then. That's what I was told anyway. But,
so who would you say? Michael Spinks. How good was Michael Spinks?
Well, he was very good. I mean, he was capable. He was a good fighter. He was very aggressive and conditioned, and he came to fight. When you go in there with him, if you're not ready, you're not gonna last. With Spinks, because Spinks come at you, aggressive and raw, and Spinks. That's how Spinks is. It's come throwing punches. Can't fight going back too well, but he can attack. So he wasn't one of my favorite fighters, but he did his thing. He beat Ali,
He beat Holmes, didn't he? He beat Larry Holmes.
Larry Holmes, yeah.
Who do you keep in contact with on a regular basis, Leslie?
Fighters. Well, I'm friends with a lot of fighters. None in particular on a regular basis. We just now and then when we talk to some of them on Facebook, but to say hang out with us or see on a daily basis now. because sometimes they're so far away, and I just came from Howard Davis was one who we spoke a lot sometimes before he passed away. I went to Florida with one of his